Now, the Ministry of Monitoring and Evaluation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Information, is inviting the public to a 3-day national results fair and exhibition dubbed Delivering Results for Our Citizens. This is our citizens, a work in progress. The fair will enable ministries, departments and agencies to interact with the citizenry, civil society, policy think tanks, students, diplomatic corps, and the media to explain the progress of implementation and achievement of government's flagship programs and other strategic interventions. It's happening at the Accra International Conference Center from Tuesday, tomorrow, the 14th, until Thursday, the 16th of January 2020, 8 a.m. each day. And the special guest of honor is His Excellency the President, Akufo-Addo. Come and be part of this unique opportunity to promote social accountability by increasing your voice in the national development process. Can't wait to see you there. Now, every year, about 1,500 women die from cervical cancer. Now, apart from patients reporting late, health professionals say the equipment to aid the healing process is also not available. That is the focus of our latest Hotline documentary produced by Seth Kwame Boateng. It's called Cervix In Crisis. It will air tonight at 8:30. But ahead of that, let's have a look at some extracts or excerpts of the documentary. And then, of course, we'll speak to the producer, Seth Kwame Boateng. Mama B will do all that after these.
At the oncology unit of the Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital, 66-year-old Yao Buama, whose wife is battling cervical cancer, confirms this. They never sought medical attention until after 5 years.
We concluded it was a spiritual disease, so I sent her to a prayer camp twice, yet she didn't get better. They kept taking money from us. I was so worried, so I took her to a Muslim traditional healer. Still, her condition was deteriorating. Observing the pain she was going through, especially at night, I then decided to take her to hospital.
Yabuama, his wife and their 4 children now rely on family and friends for their upkeep. He has sold their large cocoa farms and other properties to help save the life of his dear wife. Yabuama is not ready to lose her.
I am afraid my wife will die and I will not see her again. I rather lose my investment than to lose my wife. If God gives me strength, at least I can work and have them back. My concern was to just look for someone to buy them. So I eventually got a buyer, and that gave me some money to cater for her treatment. But it's finished in no time, so I had to sell my plot of land too. Now, that money has also finished. Friends and well wishers are those supporting us with some token.
His 60-year-old wife, Yafufie, still cannot believe she is battling a disease she had long thought was far from her.
I had no idea what cancer was all about. I didn't know it could attack the uterus and the stomach. All I knew about it was that it attacks only the leg. I wept when I was told it was cancer, which I knew kills.
At the Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital, gynecologist Dr. Aduapia Kubi notes the high illiteracy about the disease is not the only reason patients like Yafufie delay in seeking help.
Most of them are due to one, ignorance of the disease. They don't even know the disease exists. And then the other one is lack of education, illiteracy. They don't even know anything about the disease. And then they don't know where to send the problems to. That's why most of them resort to these pastors, churches, and all those things. And then the other one, to poverty. the patient is at the patient doesn't have a lot of money, he doesn't know where to go and all that.
When Yafofia was experiencing frequent discharge with intermittent bleeding, she assumed she was experiencing another phase of menopause. Because it was painless, it reinforced her conviction to treat it lightly. She, however, became alarmed when she realized she was growing lean.
I used to be plumpy with well-endowed back. I had a lot of flesh around my neck, unlike the bones you see now. I never imagined cancer could cross my path one day. From what I am going through, I can tell you it is better to commit suicide so you die fast than waiting for this cancer to hit you. It is a bad disease.
Cervix in Crisis. That's the title of our latest Hotline documentary. As later this evening, tomorrow, and then continues next week. The producer of the documentary is here, Seth Kwame Boateng. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mama B.
I was just trying to track when this documentary, when you sat down to do this, because you went to do your Master of Public Health in the UK. You came back and then this came out. When did you start?
I've been working on this for the past 1 year.
Okay.
It took me some time to get people to interview because, we're still stigmatized against people with this condition because of what they go through and how we judge them, because this is sexually transmitted disease. So it's like, oh, you've been sleeping around this and that. So it's not easy for people to open up and share their stories. So it took me really long time to get patients to open up and speak to me.
Well, sadly, we may have also lost some of the women that you spoke to in this documentary.
Yeah, in the woman we saw a while ago, the one who said if it's better to commit suicide before cancer hits you, she's gone. She died a few weeks after I interviewed her. And something she said, when she said that, I didn't understand what she was saying, but doctors later explained to me. When I was doing the interview, she told me that her soul wants to travel abroad. She wants to go to either Italy or Germany. And we all laughed, not knowing she was telling me something. So when you speak to palliative care doctors, they will tell you that it's a signal that she has gotten to a point that she's transitioning to the next world. So her soul wants to travel abroad. So in the documentary, I say that yes, a few weeks after, she traveled and never returned.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all because they reported late.
How many, because you're telling different stories in this. How many women in all did you speak to in this documentary?
About 5 women. I have one in Konongo who was 4 months pregnant when they detected she had a cervical cancer. 4 months pregnant. Now, doctors were torn between either aborting the pregnancy and operate on her and stop the cancer from spreading, or keep the baby and find a way of suppressing the cancer so that at the 9th month they can operate on her and bring the baby out. And I'm told that this perhaps the first time doctors have done that in Ghana. So they managed the pregnancy until the 9th month. So they brought out the baby and did a surgery.
And this was successful?
This was successful. So they removed her cervix and her womb and other organs that cancer had attacked. And I went there. She wasn't too well the time I went there, but I understand she'll be fine because when she reported, she had reached stage 1.
Okay.
Meaning she reported early, a bit early, not as doctors wanted anyway, but they were able to do something for her. And I have another woman, over 70 plus. She was in Salt Pond. She has also a good story because she survived. She saw it early, So we went through the surgery. You know, it's curable, it's treatable when detected early. So she's okay. But others I spoke to, they delayed. They moved from one church to the other, one prayer camp to the other, one herbalist to the other. By the time they got to the hospital, it was too late. They had reached stage 3 and were almost at stage 4. That is the point. Doctors will tell you, we can only manage. We can't treat you. So because of the pains you go through, we can only give you drugs and injections to help you deal with the pain. It's not as if they can
make it go away.
Make it go, no.
Yeah, and one of the specialists who spoke to you did indicate, and he was trying to make the example to you that if you had one patient with the condition in the particular waiting room where you guys were, nobody else could stay there.
Yeah, so,
and I wonder how you going around to speak to some of these women, how did you manage it?
It wasn't easy, but you know, I had told myself I was going to do it, and I needed to empathize with them. You understand? Because they are already going through a lot. They are unable to associate themselves. They are unable to mingle with friends and people outside their nuclear family. So if you want the person to speak to you, empathize with them, and you put yourself in their shoes. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I remember one woman who has been bleeding for 2 years non-stop. She's 70. 2 years non-stop. So she moves with packs of pad in her bags. You understand? Because she changes herself 6 times a day.
Wow.
A day. She's been bleeding, and she brings out this foul stench smell. Yeah. When I was interviewing her, she was so uncomfortable because she was still bleeding, so you could see she couldn't even sit well, and her condition had reached a point. They can only give chemotherapy and give other drugs to bring down the pain and not to cure her. Or because she didn't do the screening. If doctor says the screening is important, she didn't do the screening, so she never got to know she had cervical cancer until it's fully manifested, and that was too late.
As a journalist, and I must also add, as a public health specialist, you know, going through this process, what did you learn? What are the lessons that you learned that you think you could share with us?
I'll be honest. You know, when I was conducting the interview, some of the things I didn't understand until I came back and I put everything together, and I was like, oh, wow. So this is the problem. One, I was doing the interview, and the doctors had said over and again, but I think I wasn't getting it, that it's sexually transmitted. Until I came back and I started listening to everything, I said, oh my God. And it will surprise you that people who are highly educated in a society, some I've interacted with since the promo started, they were like, are you sure it's sexually transmitted? And I'm like, yes. I didn't know. And what has shocked me is the latency period. That if you are 20 years and you slept with a man who had picked the HPV, the human papilloma virus, from another woman and had given it to you, if you are 20 years, you will not know until you are around 40, 42, 43, before the symptoms start manifesting. So until you do the screening, you will never know. That is why doctors insist that do the screening, because no symptoms will present or manifest until it had reached that point, that when the cancer had spread to other organs of your body. So I've learned a lot, and I've been advocating seriously. I remember, if you saw on our platform, when I was working on the documentary, I put on the platform, if you're a lady on this platform, please, it's important you go and do your screening and take the vaccination shot. If you have a sister, just spread the information, because we can't sit down for 4 women to die every day in Ghana. So as you speak, by the close of today, 4 women will die due to cervical cancer. Tomorrow, 4 will die. Yesterday, 4 died. Every month, every year, we lose over 1,500 women.
That's a
to this
huge
disease.
figure. What's the you know, we educate with the pieces that we produce, but we also want people to take a certain action immediately. What's that action?
So we are saying we should end cervical cancer now, and we should do the screening.
That's what we are calling for as a group here, multimedia. That's what we believe in, that we should do the screening, and governments should be supportive. Not everybody can afford this. It's a bit expensive for some people, around 200 cedis. How many people can afford this? Not everyone. So, and people don't even know that this disease exists. Because some of the people I interviewed, still don't believe that it's medical condition. One lady told me, well, she had a dream and saw that somebody had removed something from her vagina. So she woke up, and in no time she started bleeding. So she thinks it's spiritual disease.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she doesn't believe it's cancer. I have another person who I said moved from one church to the other, one prayer come to the other. So it's an issue that multimedia we are taking up because we can't sit down for this to continue.
Absolutely
and we need the health insurance to cover this. That's what we also.
Oh, it doesn't?
It doesn't.
Presently?
It doesn't. So many people can out of pocket do this.
Yeah. Explain to us, because we're showing this later this evening, and then tomorrow, and then we'll continue next week.
Yeah.
It's a 4-part series.
No, it's a 2-part series, but it's really packed.
Okay. So explain, what will people see today?
So you know about the course, you know about what you can do, you know about the fact that it's treatable and you must seek treatment early. You also hear the story of someone who lost her mom to this. Our own Gladys. Her story is very sad, very, very sad, and I'll be emotional about it. It was difficult for me when I was putting it together because what she went through, she wouldn't wish that for anybody. And
so that's a daughter who saw her mother go through the struggles, and unfortunately
she gave her mother her last bath. Yeah. So not easy looking on as your mother transition. It was a painful thing as he narrated. And I have this woman I met at the hospital. She had been praying for years that God sends a journalist to the hospital so she get a chance to speak to the world.
To tell her story.
About why cervical cancer is serious and why women should place much people on that. So I have all coming up.
And then on Tuesday, tomorrow?
Tuesday, we're going to see more. I just want people to just...
Yeah, and we want people to appreciate the conversation, you know, and this is not just any kind of story. These are, this is real life, you know, human stories. We want people to get it. And then we'll have a full-blown conversation here on the AM show. We'll get doctors in the studio so we can have conversations and see how...
some of the pictures, if I show them to you, I don't think you'll be okay throughout the day.
You know, the fact is, I have talked about the disease before, and I've actually gone through, and this would be about maybe 10 years ago, maybe, when I was working elsewhere, you know, because we had to, and I was used to go through to explain to other women that this is not like a painful thing to do if you're going through the test. It's just a little discomfort, but it's normal. I mean, if you're a woman. So I did do that. You know, it was shot as in on camera. We aired it, we showed it to everybody.
So I take people through the process too in this documentary.
Okay, but I didn't quite understand it as deeply as you've been explaining. So that's a different experience for me, even as somebody who's tried to advocate and get people you know, to do the test, the screening. Yeah, so this is a whole different for all of us.
Because to see a picture of a cervix removed, that part there, the test is cut. It has been removed, and it's terrible. Yeah. Nobody should go through this.
What time set this evening?
So 8:30 this evening and 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, this we'll be showing this here at JoyNews as we speak. Joy FM is airing the part 1 day.
Okay, on radio.
On radio as we speak. Yeah. So if you are watching us, you can listen to Joy as you watch us. Also talk about this
on TV. Seth, thank you very much. I know this is also another impactful one. Wherever you get the motivation from, we want you to remain there. Keep coming. That's our award-winning Seth Kwame Boateng with his latest piece, Cervix In Crisis. It's a serious issue. When we come back, Seth, thank you.
Thank you, Mama V.
When we come back, we'll look at what's been trending this whole weekend, particularly on Sunday. So it's the weekend trends, if you like, on the AM show right after this.